Welcome everybody to part 1 of our video tutorial to help you learn how to use the Irrigation Scheduler mobile app. This Irrigation Scheduler app is available online at this URL, weather.wsu.edu/is. The first thing you will need to do as a new user is to register for an account. And you can do that on a desktop or a smartphone or other tablet. I've clicked on the register link, and here's where you would fill out your name, etc., and agree to the terms of service, and you are most likely not going to be an information provider. Once you've filled it out, click on register. I already have an account, so I'm going to enter my username information to log in. Alright, so I've logged in and I'm looking at a dashboard for a field that I previously entered. We're going to be setting up a new field for you. And so we will first of all choose at the bottom the Add Delete Fields. And then add a new field. For our example, we're going to use almonds and fill out the rest of the fields. Current year, the network will be CIMIS for California, and the station is the nearest station to you. Durham is at the top and Gerber is about halfway down. There we go, Gerber South. Now the crop is important. That is going to set your crop coefficients. And I will just say that I'm growing almonds on sandy loam. Then I can add the field. Comes back with a confirmation that I've added a new field for my database, and tells me that I can add irrigation events by using the daily budget table, and I can look at the soil water content over time. If I needed to change anything about my field, I could use the field settings button. So let's start exploring the capabilities of this app. The first thing we'll do is to look at the current status of the field that was just set up, and we do that by choosing the dashboard. You saw this screen at the beginning, but now we're looking at the almonds field. You can see I have almonds selected. That's the new field, and it's showing that we have a current soil water deficit of 5 inches and we need to irrigate now. We haven't entered any irrigation events yet, and that's why our plants are stressed. The next menu item below the dashboard choice is called the Daily Budget Table. We can choose the Daily Budget Table to look at weather conditions and to manage our irrigation events. The screen in this example shows the 7-day daily budget table for almonds, and we're mid-May right now in 2015. Now notice just under the field is a help link, and we can choose that help link to review information about each of these choices in the 7-day daily budget, and to get more details about what these numbers mean. The first column, titled Water Use in Inches, shows the amount of water being consumed by an almond tree each day. The second column, Rain and Irrigation in Inches also, shows the combined amount of precipitation received on a specific date, plus the amount of water remaining in the soil from irrigation applied to the field. The third column, titled Available Water, is in percent, and it relates to the field capacity of the soil and to the wilting point. 100% is full field capacity, and then, of course, 0 is empty. No water in the soil. The fourth column is titled Water Deficit. Now, this can be shown in either inches or hours, depending on how you've set up your field. This column reflects the amount of irrigation that you can apply in order to fill the soil with water. You notice down here at the bottom, number 5 in red, that is the current morning's water deficit, and right now that's 5 inches. Let's take a look at some of the other symbols on this page. We have some navigation controls. The triple arrows here will take us back 1 week at a time so we can see the history. And if we want to go all the way to the beginning of the season, we use the double arrows. And the beginning of the season for almonds is March 1st. If I use the arrows pointing the other direction, it takes me to the current day. And notice that these rows are a red color. If we back up, we'll see that red color change at some point to a yellow. There we go. And that means that the crop was just entering water stress. On April 6th, looks like we had a rain event, an inch of rain, and that helped out the crop. Prior to that time, it had entered water stress on March 27th, and it was severe water stress on March 30th. All right, let's return to the current date. To add an irrigation event, you would click on the word Edit, and here you see you could enter the amount of water that you irrigated in inches. If you only know your irrigation time in hours, we can refine the field settings so that this app will help you calculate the amount of irrigation just by entering the number of hours. Let's refine our field settings now. At the bottom of the screen in the blue menu, you will see a choice for field settings. Let's click on that. So this section lets you refine what you know about your field. You can choose to get notifications by email here or by text. You can configure those notifications by time of day and trigger event. And the choice to use volumetric soil water content. This could be used if you have sensors. You would simply check that box. And again, the help link will give you more information about all of these choices. But we would like to switch to irrigation measurement in hours. So we'll check this box to use hours instead of inches. You would then enter your application rate, if you know it. Mobile Irrigation Lab personnel can help you come up with this number. They will give free irrigation evaluations and can help you determine the precise application rate of your irrigation system. We'll use 1 inch per hour for our example. And go ahead and enter any other information you know about your field. You might know when your crop came out of dormancy. For example, you might know information about canopy cover or root depth. Once you've made all your changes, click on Update Field. So on April 10th, we can see that there is about 2 hours of water deficit, and we can enter an irrigation event by clicking on Edit. Notice that we can enter the irrigation time in hours now. Let's enter a 2-hour irrigation window. And when we save it, you can see our crop is back in the green. Let's move forward, and looks like there was some water stress occurring on the 22nd, but a little bit of rain fell the next day. On the 26th, here's red again. Let's enter irrigation of 2 hours and save it. Now this is all just hypothetical, you realize. Another 2 hours on May 7th, just to keep things in the green for demonstration purposes. Alright, now when we go to the dashboard, the gauge shows us that there is water in the soil. There are 9 days until the almonds experience water stress, and everything's in the green. So this has just been a short overview of how to set up your account and how to move through the screens, how to add a new field. Look at the daily budget table that will show you week by week the current status of weather and water use and the status of your crop, and the dashboard that you see here, a quick visual indicator of what your field is doing. The irrigation scheduler will also help you refine your irrigation intervals. Your soil will only hold a certain amount of water, so you want to be sure to irrigate before you get too far behind and need to irrigate more than the soil can actually accept. So you keep your eye on the dashboard, you note when the gauge travels out of the green, then you look at the forecast for the weather and you choose a favorable date for irrigation. We want to make sure that over-irrigation is not occurring. There are more tools in this app that can help you with that decision. Go to part 2 of this video series and we'll learn more about the deep water loss chart and other tools in the irrigation scheduler.